John's here.
All right. Well, I'm glad you guys
made
have
it.
a disclaimer. It's taken me a little bit of time here to get situated.
Okay. I'm going to
We're,
stop my
we've
share,
been-
even though.
We've been holding an impromptu mastermind in your absence, John.
There you go. That's awesome.
We only learn from the best.
Yeah, we got off to a late start, and about 5 minutes to 11, I started fiddling with my computer, and I am just now getting on. So I've had all kind of computer issues, and you can probably see I'm rocking around a bit here. We're about midway in the channel, headed to Catalina. So I got my crew's running the boat.
Well, that you're not bouncing more, I'm surprised. That's getting choppy by now. You're past the morning smooth.
I had expected to be up on the bridge doing this, but when I couldn't get things working up there, I came down here and I had the same trouble down here. Here I am. Tried to do it on my phone and 2 laptops and finally got to it.
Is this a Starlink connection?
It is. Yep. We are on Starlink. So it's not the connection. It was actually the computers. They were trying to do some kind of Windows update and just they wouldn't let me do anything. It was a real pain in the butt. So,
Well, you got it done.
anybody got anything you want me to address here? Or?
I do. I have something.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. The situation happening on my side, one of my clients is going into raising money. And we just had a conference with a company who helps in raising capital. So
Okay.
my general question is, other than Indiegogo and Kickstarter, this company does, they build your platform, then you help promote it, and then they connect you to investors. My question is, do you know of anything like that that might be beneficial for any of us to raise capital?
Those are the two actually that I have heard of. You might try a couple of things. You might try Google for one. And the other thing I might be tempted to try is ChatGPT. It seems to have an awful lot of answers these days. So you're muted there, Gregory. I don't know if I didn't hear what.
Thank you for that. It's like sometimes I forget the guy on my shoulder, ChatGPT. I've been telling everybody else about it, and I forget my own to tell this guy this morning. Thank you.
Yeah. ChatGPT, it's amazing the growth rate of that. It has been, I don't know if you guys get the growth rate of that thing, but like the adoption rate of the internet took 20 years, literally 20 years. The adoption rate of Bitcoin, for instance, took 10 years. A lot of people are just kind of hearing it, getting into it now, but it started 10 years ago. ChatGPT was open to the public in November of last year. So it's literally like 4 months old, and it has 100 million users. It's like, holy shit, how did that happen? That adoption rate is insane. So I've been talking to a couple of people about this as far as like, what is it going to do to the world, the economy, jobs? I can tell you right now, I can guarantee it is going to wipe out a lot of jobs, a lot of careers. And it's very similar to when I was a high-end commercial photographer. You know, we're talking back in, I started that business in 1985 and it was over by 95. I mean, it was dead and gone. The industry doesn't exist anymore. It was killed by Photoshop. It was basically technology. Technology ended my career, you know, which luckily pushed me into a much better one. But the idea here is a lot of careers are going to end. Like 10 years from now, a lot of the stuff that were careers now and in the past, they won't even be a thing. And I know that's kind of hard to stomach, but it's true. There's no stopping it. It is coming, and it's coming really, really fast. So you guys need to start, you know, we talk about looking for opportunities. it's going to create massive opportunities, just like it did for me. You know, my career, I had a great career. I mean, if that would have gone forever, I'd still be doing it, right? I loved it. It paid me a lot of money, and, you know, it was a great way of life. And I know a lot of people are in that same situation. And if you're not prepared for change, you could get wiped out. When I think where I would be right now, if I wasn't adaptable and I didn't change when I did, where would I be? I definitely wouldn't be sitting here on a yacht. That's for damn sure. So look for those opportunities. They're all around and they're coming fast. So let's go to Shelly. You got your hand up there. You just need to unmute.
Personal question. Did you get my email?
I did not.
Okay. I'm gonna double, I know it went to you. I sent it last week and I'm not quite sure why I'm not able to contact you or get your company. I'm gonna double check. I'm gonna let you go here now to go to the next person, but I'll double check to make sure I didn't put an S on the end of Dominator.
Okay, well it is. It's John, John,
Yeah,
at internetdominators.com. So that is the correct address. And
okay, so John at internetdominators.com.
that is the correct address, yes.
Okay, I will send it again in a little while.
It's possible it went into my spam folder. So
Maybe, I don't know, but I just wanted to double check and make sure I had everything spelled correctly and so
Yeah.
I'll double check and I'll resend. Thank you.
And the other thing too, I know I don't look at the chat, but I do get the chat down script after we get off the call. Put your email address in the chat for me. And then when we're off this, I'll go and I'll run a search in my mailbox and see if it's maybe in the spam folder.
Okay, thank you.
Like I said last week, if you guys send me an email and I don't respond to it, it means I didn't see it. Because I respond to everybody within a day, sometimes two, but certainly within 2 days.
Thank you.
So, my apologies on that one.
Oh, no, it's probably my end. Maybe it's a Canadian thing. Doesn't want to cross the border.
Well, it's, you know, email is always got issues.
Yeah,
Sometimes, like, you know, for some reason, it might be going into the spam folder. And all I have to do is just check a box that says, no, it's not spam, and then you'll be cleared to come through all the time.
okay,
So,
okay. Don't bother doing any of that today. Let me try to resend and then we'll go from there, but I'll put my information in the chat. Thank you.
okay, sure. All right, Linda.
Okay, this is probably a course I'm asking for, but I want to know how to increase my backlinks. So
Okay.
does it mean that, like, I created an ebook, so I included 2 other people in that, or 2 other companies that are here on Alignable. And so I wondered if that was good enough to get those 2 backlinks, or do I do something else? And how do I check it?
Okay. Well, let me just clarify for everyone here, like what she's talking about as far as backlinks. Backlinks are when somebody on the internet links to your website, and they call those links incoming links, backlinks. What they're important for 2 reasons. Obviously, the first reason is someone might click that link on another site, come to your website, and become a customer. Ideally, I mean, that's what you want. From a search engine perspective, like there's SEO, search engine optimization, backlinks are one of the most important factors in SEO, because Google looks at that as, if your content is worthy of other people linking to it, they see that it's valuable. So they will tend to score you higher and place you higher in search because of that. So backlinks is, you know, that's a part of SEO. So with SEO, you basically have 3 pieces. You have on-page content, you have incoming links, which are backlinks. And then you have the user experience, which is Google's AI looking at how people interact with the site and all of those factors. So those are kind of your three pieces. Now, specifically to answer your question of how to get more backlinks and is that enough, there's never too much as far as backlinks go. The easiest place for a small business to get backlinks is through directories. You can go to, there's a ton of different directories online, and you can go and you can sign up and you can basically list your business. And then they'll give you a link. So that's a backlink. Those are easy, they're free. The problem with them is they're easy and they're free, so everyone has them. So when you're looking at a statistic from search engine perspective, if everyone has the same thing, you're all kind of on a level playing field. That doesn't give them a reason to put you on top of the next guy. It's the unique links, the unique backlinks. So directories are great. If you guys don't have any backlinks, I would recommend you start there first because they're free and they're easy. Another thing, this is a factor in the search engine, specifically Google. Google works, they have a trust factor. And one of the things that they look for is information, can they trust it? So when they see your name, address, and phone number, they tie those together as a trust factor as to, is this real? Or is this like hocus pocus? And they call that the NAP. If you ever hear the phrase NAP in search engine optimization, they're referring to name, address, phone number. So you have to have them all identical. Like an example of this would be if you live on an avenue or your business is on an avenue and you spell it out, avenue, or if you abbreviate it, AVE, or if you capitalize AVE and put a period after it. So what you want to do, the first directory that you want to list in is Google. You want to go to the business section of Google, which is business.google.com, and you want to sign up for a Google business listing. That's the first one that you all should do. If you haven't done that, you want to do that. You list your business, you put what you think your name, address, and phone number is. And what I say by what you think it is Google might change it. Google might look at it and they might say, well, that's not what we believe it is. This is what we believe it is. And then they're going to print what they think it is. Like if they're going to abbreviate your street, they're going to do it, and whatever they do, that's it. That is your NAP. Take them as gospel. That's why you do them first. Whatever they do, I really suggest that you take the information after they publish you copy it, paste it into a text file, and put that somewhere where when you're doing directory listings, you can reference it, because you want to copy and paste it exactly the way Google has it. Like even down to the phone number, if there's parentheses around the area code, if there's a dash between the first 3 digits and the last 4, whatever they say, that is it. Do not edit it. If you edit it and you start making directory listings, they're not going to count. Google is going to look at it and it's going to see confusion instead of trust. So all of those directory listings, when you're getting that NAP, name, address, and phone number, they will call that citations. If you're talking to somebody that's trying to sell you on business services, they'll call that local citations. And they'll tell you how important that is. And yes, it is important, but when you compare it to another type of link, like I said, everybody has those. Everybody has those directory listings because they're free and they're easy. So it's a good base layer, but it's not going to like drive you to the top. If that's what you're doing backlinks for, to get listed at the top of the search engines, you're going to have to be better than the next guy. So you're going to have to look, after you do that base, you're going to have to start looking for other unique places to to get unique backlinks. And the thing that's better about one backlink than another is the traffic that comes from it and what happens after the traffic comes through. Like, let's say you get a link somewhere and you do a clickbaity type of title and everybody's clicking on it. And then when they get to the other end, it's something they don't want and they bounce back. That's a bad signal. Google's going to see that as a bad sign. Google does not want to send their traffic to some place that's going to be a bad user experience. So make sure that wherever your links are going, they're going to the right place. They're going to get a good user experience on the other side of it. That's really, really important. So that's one thing that makes a good link. The other thing is the volume of traffic. Like, there's a ton of people that are selling what I call garbage links. You know, they'll sell you 10,000 links for $20 on Fiverr. It's not the amount of links. Like, Google might look at that of, oh, well, you know, these guys have 20,000 links, but no one's clicked on any of those links in the last 6 months. So what do you think they're going to think? They're going to think that's spam. They're going to think that's junk. So they're not going to think very highly of you. So when I say the more links, the better, but the more good links, the better. It's not just about total volume of number. It's about that combination of quality and user experience. So number of clicks, what happens on the other side of the click is very, very important. So as always, you want to do quality work. You know, you're not just provide garbage. You're here to provide a good user experience and acquire customers. So that's in a nutshell, that's kind of what I have to say about links. Now, there's places where you can hire out to get this done. And some of the best links, I'll give you an example of a really good strategy. For you to build really good quality links, this is a good strategy. Find a site that is complementary to your business, not competitive. It won't work with a competitor, but complementary. Like, let's say if you're a realtor, for instance, this is a perfect example. If you're a realtor, a perfect complementary business to that is a mover, right? Because when somebody buys or sells a house, they're going to need a mover. So that is a perfect complement business. It's almost, think of it as affiliates. Who would be a good affiliate? That's a good link partner. So what you want to do is you want to go to that person. Like, let's say I'm a realtor and I want a link from Joe the Mover. So I contact Joe the Mover and I say, hey, Joe, I have a staff writer on my staff, and he specializes in content for movers. How about, I want a link from your site. I'd really appreciate that. But what I'll do for you is I'll have my writer write you a really good article about your company. And it'll be a high converting article. It'll be great for your site. I'll give you that for free. I just want the link that references the realtor from the mover site. And they're most likely going to agree to that because it gives them something of quality at no cost. Now, I don't know if I don't know if realtors can do this, but if you also offer Joe the mover, hey, if you send me somebody and it turns into a customer, I'll give you a kickback. I don't know if realtors can do that or not legally. I'm not sure. Teresa might know the answer to that because it broaches the finance realm.
You can always cut a deal some way.
Yeah, you could send them, hey, I'll give you a $50 Starbucks card, a gift. Gifts and cash are looked at differently. I don't know.
So putting the company's name in my ebook as a reference, that wasn't enough. It is enough.
Yeah, that's a link for sure.
Okay.
Now, here's the other thing about links that I didn't cover. When you have a link on a website, it's usually text. You can have an image link, but in text, let's talk about text specifically. The way somebody knows it's a link is usually it's a different color and it has an underline. And when you roll over it, you get a little finger that you can clip. The text of that link tells the search engine what to expect on the destination URL. So that's a keyword. So if you put a keyword in there, like instead of just putting your business name, if you put your business name and then the product or the service or a keyword specifically to what you want to rank for, and then you link that, what Google's going to see is they're going to see, oh, that site over there, that's about this keyword. So it's going to give you keyword relevance as well as links. So that's another factor to look at. They call that anchor text. The clickable text in a link is called an anchor text. So if you can put keywords in your anchor text, now don't go crazy overdoing this. That's over optimization. Don't put the same text in like 50 links, mix it up. Make sure that the text in the link does match what's on the other side as well, because you are trying to build authority and trust search engines when you're doing the linking. But links and PDFs are great because the more places that you put that PDF, the more places that link is published. Like, let's say you do a press release and you put the link, same link, you put it in the press release. Now the press release gets syndicated and it goes on to 200 news sites. Those news sites are all high authority sites that are all linking back to you. That's better than a directory listing. Because not everybody can do that. Not everybody can get news sites to link back to them. Press releases is a real cool, easy trick to get news sites to link to you. And you can do what's called a syndication, where they syndicate it out to like hundreds of different news sites. And they're all looking for content. So they all post it's really easy to get a press release posted. So that's another great source of links. So that's probably more than you ever wanted. That's your whole course on linking right there.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Also
All right.
do that with magazine interviews.
What's that?
Magazine interviews.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Same thing. Any place where you can get links, like let's say you get interviewed and you're on a podcast or something. Ask the podcast publisher if they can put a link in the description to your website. You should absolutely do that. That's a really good thing to do. So, all right, let's go to Carolyn.
Hi, John.
Hi.
Just before you got on, Teresa was sharing her business card and looking for help. And so I was just wondering if Teresa wanted to share that card again. I wanted to mention something, and I thought maybe you could also help in the matter too, if she wanted to share it again. So anyway, what I wanted to say, Teresa, was get out of jail. Basically, it's catchy, but it's not really focusing on what you want. So I came up with the words avoid tax jail. So anyway, but basically just something other than the just get out of jail, because hopefully, they're not going to be in jail when they're calling you.
Right. Well, that's the perception of everyone, though. They think that, you have a problem with the IRS. The next thing is the sheriff will be at your door.
Right. Anyway, I'm throwing that out. That's not necessary. That's just off the top of my head.
No, thank you.
But it's just basically including what you do somehow in the catchphrase, because it's it's all about taxes, avoiding them, not going to jail, et cetera. But anyway, but I think John's input on this would be probably invaluable to look at it also.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was actually there with Teresa when that whole thing was born.
Okay.
And I think it was probably from a harebrained recommendation I threw out during a mastermind.
Oh yeah, I mean, we thought it was brilliant. And I've finally gotten around to implementing it.
Yeah, but here's where
And-
I think it would be better as a follow-up than your actual business card.
Okay, I got it.
Because remember, you were talking about building a box, like a box that the customer got, and they got a bunch of like little cool stuff in it.
Right.
And the get out of jail card would be in the box.
Got it. Okay. That's cool.
I wasn't thinking of that as your main primary business card.
Aw,
I was thinking of that as a gimmick, like a discount,
Sure.
like, hey, you know, when you need me, here's a free get out of jail card.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
If you don't hire me to do your taxes, you're gonna need this.
Yeah, you'll need this. If I'm not on the front end of your books, you're going to need this. So keep this in safekeeping.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. And well, that's another catchphrase that I use a lot. Pay me now or pay me later.
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking originally when we were talking about that, was as a cool thing to add to the box of goodies that they get. You know, and then
Absolutely.
I think we were talking about like a little booze bottle so they could crack that when you get them out.
Champagne. Okay.
Yeah, the champagne to celebrate after you get them out of jail.
You know what else I would appreciate though, John, and everybody really? I have, well, where's my Zoom thing? I've also put together a brochure, and what I think in general, it should be 2 brochures because it's addressing 2 different aspects of my services.
Okay.
So,
There's definitely nothing wrong with 2 brochures. That's almost like looking at 2 landing pages, because you might give it to somebody that's a different avatar.
mhm,
Creating different brochures for different avatars is just like creating different landing pages. The concept did exist first. Remember, I always say what works in the real world works online. And that's exactly what happens. You know, in the real world, they don't run the same ad for everybody. You know, they might have different things to give to different people, different ways to attract them.
right.
So, and that's the whole concept of the landing page. You're sending the right person to the right place at the right time, and that increases conversion. A lot of times in the real world, you know, there's a lot of companies that don't do multiple brochures. The advantage is they have a salesperson in the brochure that can make the adjustments that the brochure is not making. We don't get that luxury line space because our computer's handing them the brochure, and we don't really get to talk to them unless we indoctrinate them into an email series. So that's kind of the little nuances back and forth with it.
Well, I thought I was being very clever. I created a brochure that opens, each side opens for a different service, one for problem resolution, the other one for tax strategies and whatnot, but.
That's actually kind of cool. I
Well,
like
you want to
that.
see it?
Sure.
Okay, I'm sharing my screen. You guys asked for it.
Let's see what you got.
All righty, let's see, let's do this and share. And so what happens is the peach colored panel, when folded, goes to this peach, these peach pages. And this one goes, and the green one goes to the green pages. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's pretty creative.
Yeah. But then I've already shared with the group that I will now have to employ a graphics person to clean this up because my creative ability is marginal at best.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about creative abilities, because I'm with you. I mean, I'm not an artist. I'm not a graphics person. I'm a creative thinker, but that's about as far as it goes. I'm not like put paint to canvas kind of creative. So with AI, you know, it all keeps coming back. I'm sorry if I sound like I'm beating a dead horse here with the AI stuff, but that's one of the things that it's going to give you abilities you didn't have before. It's almost like, you know, if I show you how to do graphics using something like Midjourney or Stable Diffusion, it's almost like I've waved a magic wand and turned you into a master artist. Just like that. Because it's just like ChatGPT, you're giving it a prompt, and now from the prompt, it's creating you an image. And the images are phenomenal. Like my marketing assistant, Becky, I created her in Midjourney just by talking through a chat window. And I told it what I was looking for. And, you know, I went back and forth with it for probably 20, maybe 20 or 30 minutes until I got her the way I wanted her. And then once I did, I took the image that it created and I fed it back to it with a URL. And I said, based on this image, this is the girl I want, but I want her wearing a turtleneck sweater, or I want her wearing, you know, a parka, you know, whatever. And it took her and it kept her, it kept the integrity of her, yet it kept dressing her the way I wanted her dressed. Because obviously I don't want my marketing assistant to show up in the same clothes every day. You guys are going to think she needs a shower or something.
True enough. So do you think that I could use AI to spruce up?
Absolutely. And if you want to start with a base image, you can load it up. Like you can put that image on your website and then give it the URL to the image. All you have to do to get the URL to an image, if the image is online, like you upload it to your site, you can see it in a web browser, you right click on the image and there'll be a little tab there that says copy image location. That will give you the URL to the image. And then you can paste that in the chat and you can tell it, you know, this is the image I have. It's not quite what I want. I want it to be fancier. I want it to be more elegant. I want more in a fantasy style. If you know of a particular artist that you really like, put in the artist's name and say, I want it done in this style of this artist.
Really?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm going to give it a go.
Oh,
But
yeah.
You're thinking Midjourney or Stable Diffusion?
Journey is the one that I have used. Stable Diffusion, what I hear is it's 10 times better and it's free all the way across the board. Like when I was
free.
Yeah, when I was using Midjourney, it got to a certain point and then I had to upgrade to pay because I was using it a lot. So I overstayed my welcome on the free side. But I got a lot for free. And I kind of cut my teeth with Midjourney. It's a phenomenal program. It's a little different. It's not intuitive. I had a little bit of trouble at first. I got really frustrated. I'm like, how in the hell does this thing work? Because you have to put certain lines of code in to get it in the mode you want it to be in. But here's the trick. Here's what I did that made it super simple. I went to YouTube and I typed in, how do I use Midjourney? And
Don't you love YouTube? Okay, I'm going to stop
kinds-
the share so that you can go on to somebody else, but that's a great idea.
Yeah, there's all kinds of free 30-second tutorials on how to use Midjourney, and it's not that difficult. It is a matter of you got to know what to do. And like anything else, you know, it looks really complicated until you've done it a couple times. And then you're like, well, this is a piece of cake. Why, you know, why was this so hard? All right. Well, let's go to Lisa.
Hello. I know we talked about this before, but I didn't really catch it on how to make my site, you know, like for wheelchair accessory.
Oh, gotcha. So there are ADA widgets. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for an ADA widget. it will give you a little piece of code that you put onto your website, and then that will put the little emblem on there, and then somebody that's handicapped can click that and get different options. And it basically just changes different things inside your website through the browser. So I know with like with me, I have the widget creator, and I make a lot of widgets for, you know, for different websites. Anybody that, you know, when we build their website, I ask them if they want that on there, and I'll just usually just give it to them for free, or if somebody comes, we have a small fee to do it. But that's what you want. You want an ADA widget. You know, we can do it for you if you can't.
Even if I have Shopify, it doesn't matter?
Doesn't matter. As long as you can put a piece of code like in the header and footer, which I'm pretty sure you can do that in Shopify. Because you can adjust the meta tags and stuff. So you can, it's just kind of like, you know, where you put code in for tracking codes and stuff, you can just put it in there. And that should do the trick. That should work.
Okay.
All right. Okay. That it, Lisa?
Got it.
All right. Let's go for Daryl.
Hey, John, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. I guess I have a couple follow-up questions to what you had just discussed, and I hope I can articulate it properly so you can understand the question. First and foremost, I guess with the photos that you're using through AI when you put them in a brochure or on your website, like now, if you're to use a photo that somebody else took, you either have to get it from a free source or purchase it. But
Correct.
if you do it through AI, then it's completely free. I mean, you're able to use any of the photos that you create from there.
Yes. Now, we had this discussion a couple of weeks ago, and technically anything that is AI generated, technically the copyright is owned by the AI, but I don't really see this, you know, it hasn't been a thing. It hasn't really been addressed yet legally.
Okay.
So, I'm of the opinion that I am going to use the stuff until I'm told otherwise.
Right.
And if you're paying, like if you're paying for the service, like I'm paying for Midjourney now. So when you pay for things, then it automatically changes the rules. Like,
right.
Like say I have a stock photo image company, and I pay them, you know, a subscription so I can use the images. So I would look at it the same way. If you're paying for the service, certainly you can use those commercially.
Gotcha. But if you're doctoring the image, it's then almost an original.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. So I believe in copyright law, I believe a 10% change is all it takes to make a new original.
Okay.
So like if you're taking their base image and you're laying text over it, you're, you know, taking it into another, like a Canva or a Photoshop or something like that, you're changing it, you know, probably more than 10%. So you should be good.
Right, exactly.
John, it's actually 30%. I'm sorry. We had a publishing company for a while, and there's a lot of static, but if you actually get down to the nitty-gritty, it's like 30%. Well, what's 30%? What is 30%? You know, how do you determine that? But
yeah,
if you look at it and it looks different, that's it.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it was 10%. That was a long time ago, so maybe it's 30 now.
Okay, very good. And then the other question is, like, if you have a lead magnet page or multiple pages, and it brings people to different areas of your website, how do you segment your website so they don't see like the other areas that they would not be interested in?
You
basically
categorize. Now, are you talking about like trying to completely hide stuff from them?
Not completely hide stuff. Like if I send out a lead gen page, because I'm in the like gourmet food business. So if I find out through segmenting that somebody is, you know, eats only fish and not meat, then I don't want them to see all my meat offerings and really only all the seafood offerings.
Gotcha. Okay. So in that case, you're making a landing page inside the website. So landing pages are typically, they're meant to be standalone pages. So they're not meant to be part of the navigation of the site. So in a landing page, I never put navigation to the rest of the site. I put like a headline. Sometimes I'll put like the company name at the top, a headline, and then a call to action. But there is no linking, there's no navigation, there's no, links to other stuff, because you're trying to get a single action out of that. You want that user to land there and take a specific action. So in your website, there, categorize. You can create navigation that categorizes, so you want them to be able to navigate all of your pages.
Right.
But on a page, when you're paying for traffic for people to land on that page, that you want a single action. You don't want them on there just browsing around. You
Gotcha.
Especially in the case of a lead magnet, you want to get their email address.
Right,
So,
exactly.
Don't send them to a circus if you want their email address.
Right. Well, I guess that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So let's say, you're getting their email address, and then after their email address, you send them a survey to kind of find out, what they're most interested in. And then after you get that information, then, you send them, I have this website that has like a ton of products on there, but like I said, if somebody's interested in like seafood and doesn't eat meat, they're not going to like,
sure.
I think looking at all the meat options is going to just be, off-putting to them.
Yeah, that's not necessarily true, because if they don't eat meat, it might be for different reasons. So what you might do is in the survey, the idea is to tag them. The more tags you can add to every prospect, the more you know about them. Like
right.
in the
I'll
survey,
be right. I'll be right.
You might ask them, do you not eat meat because you hate the idea of killing an animal?
Right.
If that were the case, then yeah, you don't ever want to send them anything about meat, ever.
Right. Right.
But if it's just a life choice and maybe the rest of their family eats meat, sure, I'd show them meat all day long, because they might want to get it to their family. So it's important to understand the why behind all that stuff. And if you're going to do a survey, yeah, you can ask that, and you can apply all those tags, and then you can have like a no meat tag. And every time you send out a mailer, you can say, hey, exclude all the no meaters here.
Right, exactly.
So you definitely do that. And I would do that. I would do it in that case only.
Right.
But just because they say they eat fish, I wouldn't exclude them from showing them meat unless there was a reason to.
Okay.
But if they have, like they're a PETA member, yeah, maybe. Unless, that might be a good way to exclude people you don't want to.
Right. So I guess your point is that on the initial contact or the initial sale, you want there just to be one call of action where there's just doing one thing.
Correct.
Rather than sending them to your site to fish around.
And I wouldn't send them to a complicated survey on the first date either.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Just all you want is you just want to get them in your database. Think about it as a courtship. If you move too fast, you're going to repel them.
Right.
You don't go for the marriage proposal on the first date.
Right. So maybe just like a discount offer or something in the beginning.
Yeah. Anything that and discount, really, that's an assumption that there's a sale. So that's even moving too fast. Unless if they're there to buy, then that might be the right move. But if you truly are on the first date, that's two presumptions. That's like, that's like buying condoms.
Okay.
You're assuming the date's going to be more than a date, right?
Okay. So it should be more informational then, is kind of what you're saying. Yes, like the perfect lead magnet. If
if you were to ask me, like, what's the perfect lead magnet to get someone to opt in, what I
What's
would
the
tell
perfect lead magnet?
it's the thing that solves the first step of what they are going to have to do to get what they want. So if you do a timeline, there's a timeline exercise in the ACT program, and it goes something like this. They're on the timeline where they are currently. That's their current position. That's the state that they're in. And nobody wants to be where they are. They always want something different. They're always wanting something. So if the something that they're wanting can be delivered by what you're selling, then you got a perfect match. That's the person you want to be talking to.
Right.
So on the timeline, you have to say, okay, if they're here and they're going to get where they want to go, what would they have to do to get there? And fill it in, fill in the timeline, all the stuff that's going to happen for them to get what they want.
Okay.
And then take the first step, take the very first step and help them do that. And
Okay.
give that for free. And tell them, say, hey, you know, if you want to get this, you're never going to get this without taking this first step. Let me help you do that. I have a free whatever, a free PDF, a free video, whatever it is. That's your lead magnet. I want to help you take the first step. If you can take the first step, I guarantee you can go all the way.
Okay.
And by them doing that, if they take that first step and they see that they could do that, you just gave them a massive amount of confidence that they can go the rest of the way. So their desire to work with you, buy your stuff, is going to go through the roof.
Right. Okay.
So the perfect lead magnet is always the thing that gives them the deliverability of the first step toward what they want.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that right there is pure gold. And then you can give them more. Like, once I give them that first thing, I congratulate them on taking the first step. And I tell them what the next step is. And I might give them 2 or 3 steps for free. I might say, you know, now that you downloaded the PDF and you took the action and it worked, you know this works. So I did a free video and I'm going to show you how to get the rest of the way. And that's where I'll do a whole presentation. That will be a sales presentation. I'm taking them on a very advanced date and I'm going for the gusto.
Right.
I tell them, okay, here's all the stuff that you got to do. I have a product that will help you do it, or will do it for you, or whatever. And at that point, they're going to really want that. You've created demand and desire, you eliminate objections, and then you make the offer.
Right. Okay.
But if you do that before they've accomplished the first step, they have no confidence that they can get that outcome. So you're out of sequence.
Okay. And would you think, you know, once you reach that point, a video or like a long page sales letter is just as effective as a video, or?
There's probably nothing as effective, you know, as video other than being in front of them.
Okay.
I mean, a long page sales letter, if you're going to do a video sales letter, I would definitely turn it into a long page sales letter, because you've got people that they're readers and they're hearers. You know, some people hear better. Some people are more visual. You know, you've got auditory, you've got visual, and you've got kinesthetic.
Yeah.
In the kinesthetic, you can appeal to them with both audio and visual by showing them things and getting them to feel it.
Okay.
You know, like one of the trigger words to take somebody into the kinesthetic mode is imagine. Imagine how you're going to feel when you get this outcome. And you can really seduce the kinesthetic with that. But most people are visual, you know, especially men. Men are really visual. So I would go for all of it. I would go audio, visual, but you know, the video covers the audio visual. The readers, there's a whole category of people that I lump them into what I call bean counters. And they want all the details about shit. They drive me nuts, you know. They absolutely drive me crazy. It's not my ideal customer at all. But if you can give them the video sales letter in print so they can follow it as they're watching and hearing you and they're following along, then
Okay,
they'll fall in love with you. If you want bean counters, that's how you seduce them.
I gotcha. Okay, okay,
Give them access to everything.
right, right. And that, I mean, if you set something up like that, the video should be kind of, I mean, the sales letter should scroll with the video where your video is still stable.
Well, the video's stable at the top, but if the sales letter is in the same page,
Yeah,
they're going to be scrolling it as they're listening to the video.
I gotcha. Okay.
And the video, all the images and the graphics in the video should be in the sales letter as well. So they're not going to miss. Yeah, they won't miss anything.
Right. Okay. Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Sure, absolutely. All right, who's up next? Boy, I didn't kill all the questions within an hour, did I? That's awesome.
Hey, John. Hey, I found something kind of cool while you guys were talking.
Oh, cool. Yeah, always find the good stuff.
It's there's an image creator, an AI image creator in Microsoft Edge or whatever it is, the search engine.
Oh, image
Oops.
creator.
Yeah, if you go to the right edge in whatever in Bing, I'm not super familiar with Microsoft search engine because I usually use Chrome, but if you go down, there's a plus sign on the right side and you can enable the image creator, and it's an AI image generator.
Oh, okay.
Just
I-
found that.
Speaking of all the AI stuff, I've been buying a lot of products lately, a lot of AI products, and I'm looking for the golden goose, as always. I read the sales letters and I fall in love with the promise, and then you buy the thing and you get it, and you're like,
And
what
it sucks.
Yeah, it's like, what is this piece of crap? And I mean, like, I am definitely kissing all the toads for you guys, trying to find the good stuff. But so far, I got to tell you, I really like working with prompts, generating the prompts myself because of the control. Whenever you buy a tool, what they're doing is they're generating prompts for you, and they're putting you in a templated box, which I hate to be locked into a templated box. I want the gloves off if I'm going to fight. So I haven't really found much of anything yet. I bought one yesterday. It said it was an AI ebook writer, and it said you could give it a keyword or a URL to a website, and it would convert it into an ebook for you, right?
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds really cool. But
Doesn't work,
do
does
that?
it?
Does it
No.
do that? No. All it does is it takes all the text off of whatever URL you give it, and it just puts it into a text file and says, here's your ebook. And you got to go in and format it and all that. And I'm like, that is not what the sales letter said. They're showing these beautifully done books with graphical covers, the whole enchilada.
There's a lot of people trying to jump on how quick can we get money out of this bandwagon.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
But
one thing I will say, those marketing blocks is getting better all the time.
Is it? Yeah. I just didn't like that one because the same reason. I just don't like to be put in the box.
I get it.
I know it's probably great for a lot of people.
It can be a nice starting point if you don't know what to say in the prompt.
After going to the AI conference in Vegas last week, I learned quite a bit about the no-code software.
About which now?
There's called no-code software, and it's basically AI software generating tools. So
interesting.
So what you can do, you can talk to it just like you're prompting, but you're prompting it to create software for you.
Oh, interesting.
It will literally write the code of the software. So I'm thinking, I could create for the ACT program, because you guys all know what a pain in the ass it is to do the analysis.
Exactly.
How to segment the markets. Well, if I came up with the prompts, if I worked really diligently and came up with the right prompts to do the market segmentation, the avatar creation, all of that stuff, I could have this code me a piece of software where you could just drop in the niche that you're in and it could give you the choices. You choose the subcategory and then it gives you all the avatar selections. And
I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it could do all that work for you, and I don't have to hire a team of programmers to build it. I can use no-code software to generate the software.
Yeah, we talked about that at one point here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, that's
Somebody asked me to share my screen with the image generator thing.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's just, I mean, it was like a super simple prompt. I don't even remember, honestly, don't even remember what I just put in, but it was like, this is the image creator icon on the right-hand side here. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, yeah, I see it.
Just a little paintbrush, and you click on it, whoops, and it disappears. Oops, where did it go? Ah, there you go, a mechanical sphere floating above a pink desert. Which
cool.
is just like, it was a suggestion, but it uses Dolly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's built in and it doesn't take long.
Yeah, there's what's the other one? There's one I think called Leonardo.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them, but I talked to one of the guys I knew from the internet marketing space from years and years ago, and he's an artist, and we talked about him last week on the call. His name's Ari.
Yeah, I remember the video.
and he uses that stable diffusion. He swears by it. He says that, and he's a real artist, so he knows his shit.
I've messed with that one a little bit. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I want to get in and kind of play a little bit more with it. And I'm thinking about doing some kind of an AI event for people to get people to see how to work all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm actually thinking about doing a last minute. I know it is definitely last minute, but I'm thinking about doing a trip to Catalina either next weekend or the weekend after, if a small group of people want to get together and do a little private mastermind out there.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
So I'll put an email out probably later tonight. I'll get the details on it. If anybody local wants to hop in on that, go out. See what
I wish I could make it. We did find out, I think, that they're going to lift the restrictions on May 11th, though. That's good.
Cool. And if any of you guys, I know it's kind of exclusive because of the location, but any of you guys that are not close here, like I know some of you are in Canada, some of you are in Greece, you guys are all over the world. And you want to for you. I've had really luck with that in the past. Like I tell everybody,
we just lost all of that. You dropped out. You dropped out for the last 10 seconds.
Oh, okay. So I've told people in the past I'm really horrible at picking dates. So if you know you're coming to California and you want to do an event on the boat, let me know and I'll schedule that around your dates. You just tell me when you want it and I'll put something together for you.
That sounds awesome.
I've always had great luck with that. If somebody else picks the dates, then I fill the event. If I pick the date, anybody can go. So I'm horrible at picking dates.
What do you do it in August?
So I don't know. You tell me.
Okay, let's do it in August.
Yeah, literally, just give me the dates.
All of it.
All of August.
Oh, I just want to claim to May the 4th. So we can say, May the 4th be with you on John's boat.
May the 4th be with you. That's awesome.
I like it.
And Jay needs August, so he has a place to stay. That's why he needs to claim all of August.
There you go.
That's it. And I have a nice place. It's just I want to get back and visit a little bit sometime this year.
Yeah, definitely. That would be cool. But yeah, if any of you guys, if you are planning to be in here or you want to plan to be out here, let me know and tell me what you want me to cover too. Because as you know, I can cover a vast array of topics around the internet marketing space. So I'm happy covering whatever you want covered. Or like, if we just do a mastermind group, we could go from top to topic, you know, whatever each person wants to focus on, we could dedicate a certain amount of time to that. Just, you know, work that and then go to the next one. So we could cover a lot of topics and, you know, in a short period of time. So, all right. Anything else before we wrap it up for today?
I'm trying to find that Microsoft thing on Edge. We'll talk about that maybe next week, John. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I'll play around with it. Maybe we can do a tutorial or something. So, all right, guys. Well, Ahmed, you got your hand up. I saw you wanted to schedule a call.
Right. But that's not what I'm raising my hand for.
Okay.
When you and I talked about, actually, I wanted to bring up maybe the next session at least, or if you want to talk about it now, the virtual assistants and services, etc.
Okay, you mean like how to hire a virtual assistant?
Right. You and I kind of mentioned, so you know what, this might be a good subject to talk about.
Oh, yeah. So I use virtual assistants in 2 places. I use the Philippines and also India. All my web development team is in India. I have found really good luck. I never had good luck with web development in the Philippines for some reason. I don't know why that is, but in the Philippines, I've had really good luck with guys doing SEO, doing, you know, normal VA stuff. But for some reason, the website stuff, I never found good people. They're not there. I may have just, you know, stumbled upon good ones in India and went that direction. So, but the way that I hire, and this is specific to the Philippines, because I've hired a lot of guys in the Philippines. And when I first started out, it was a disaster. It was like I was getting ripped off one time after another. But I came up with a process of how to hire them. And another thing that you need to know too about the Philippines, it's hard to hire part-time. If you guys are looking for a part-time VA, it's really difficult because if they're part-time, they're working for other people and you're not their priority. And a lot of times what will happen is they'll take on more clients than they can actually do, and then your job suffer. So that's one thing I've found about part-time VAs. It's not going to be your best bet. So a full-time one, you have to make sure that you have enough stuff lined up to really keep them busy. Even if it's busy work, even if you don't need it done, you need to keep them busy. So sometimes if you've got like other business owners and you can share them, but they have one point of contact, you don't want to say like, hey, you're working for me and you're working for Jerry and Jack and Joe. You know, you don't want to do that. They're working for you. So you're feeding them the work, you're their boss, but you're giving them stuff to do for all these other people. They don't know that. They think it's for you. You need to have a volume of work that's more than they can do. Always want to give them more than they can accomplish. That way they won't be looking for other shit to do. Because as soon as they find that, you've lost them, right? You break the chain. So that's one thing that you got to know. The other thing you have to know is you have to honor their culture. If you get a good one, they're really loyal. But you have to honor their culture for them to be loyal to you. One of the things I found out was the biggest holiday in the Philippines is going to be their mother's birthday. That sounds really weird, but I'm telling you that like when I have a resume, or not a resume, a job application, their mother's birthday is one of the fields to fill out. And I put that on my calendar because I'm going to give them that day off and I'm going to give them a $50 to $100 bonus. And their job for that day is to spend it with their mother and spend that money on her. And if you do that, they're going to be like a god in their family. They're going to be a hero. And the mother drives the train. Actually, the grandmother drives the train in that household. I guarantee it. If there's a grandmother, she's driving the train. And if you treat the mother with respect, the grandmother holds you in high regard. They also hold you accountable. Because if you have a boss that is doing this and honoring the mother's birthday, and you screw up and you lose that job, they're going to have hell to pay with the grandmother. So you are using, literally, you're leveraging a family hierarchy to keep them in line that is beyond what you are capable of. Nothing you could do is worse than what that grandmother will do if they screw up and lose that job. So that's something that you need to know about them. You know, they have a lot of holidays, a lot of religious holidays. You need to honor that stuff and know that they're not going to be working those holidays. Don't expect it. In fact, tell them not to. Give them those days off. You generally wind up paying them a salary. You don't nitpick about, you know, them having days off and not, you don't say, you know, you're not getting paid if you're having a holiday. Don't do that. The other thing is they have a tradition called the 13-month bonus. So when they've worked for you for a full year, when it comes December, it's kind of like a Christmas bonus. I usually give them 1 to 2 weeks off between Christmas and New Year's, at least that week. And you give them an extra month's pay, which is the 13-month bonus. So whatever you're paying them per month, that's their bonus for the year end. And those kind of things will keep someone really, really incredibly loyal to you. Now, hiring someone to begin with, this is a whole operation in itself. The most important thing to me to hiring someone in the Philippines is getting someone that's honest. That's the thing. If you get a liar, it's never going to work in your favor. So you're trying to do literally. First thing I'll do.
Hey, John, can you repeat the last sentence or so?
Yeah, so the first thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to flush out liars. So in the process, in my job process, I look for employment process. I never post jobs. I will go onto a job board and I'll look for people that have their resumes up there. I'll cherry pick through. If I've got one position to fill, I'll probably cherry pick 20. And I'll tell them, I'll say, you know, I have a position that's potentially full-time, but it's 1 month as a trial basis. So you're going to work for a month and then you're going to have a review. And then if all goes well, you could be offered a permanent position. So that's how I started. And I send it out to those 20 people and I'm looking for response time. Anybody that doesn't respond to that within 24 hours, it's automatically out. Automatically out. When they respond, I'll ask them a question, or actually I'll send them a questionnaire. And it's a job skills analysis questionnaire. And I list off probably 50 to 100 different skill sets. And I ask them to rate themselves on each skill set. And from a 0 to a 5. A 0 means they don't know anything about it. They have no knowledge of it whatsoever. A 5 is they know more than I do and they can teach me a thing or two about it. So they have to rate themselves 0 to 5 on all of those things. If they don't know, just put a 0, no problem. And 2 of the skill sets is English reading and English writing. So again, I'm looking for how long does it take them to get filled out and back to me. If it's more than 24 hours, they're off the list. If they get it back right away, and I look at that and I see, oh, they have a a 5 in speaking English, then I'm going to immediately get them on a Zoom call so I can talk to them. If they've lied, they're done. If they tell me they're a 4 or 5 in English writing, I'm going to ask them to respond back with a few paragraphs asking why they feel that this job is perfect for them. And again, if they take too long to get back to me, that's a no-go. If they get back to me and it's broken, they've lied to me. They're done. I usually will tell me,
You froze for a while.
oh, so I'm
You
trying
froze.
to, am I back on now?
Now you are.
Okay. So again, I'm just trying to flush them out and see if they're lying. So, you know, whatever it takes, I'm trying to find out if they're lying on that skill sheet. If they are, then they're done. And usually out of 20, I'll get probably 3 that will filter through, and those will be 3 solid applicants. And quite often I'll hire all 3 of them for the first month, and I'll give them all the same stuff to do. And then at the end of the month, I'll pick the best one of the 3 and offer them the position. But what I want to do is I want to stack them with more work than they can possibly do, because I want to know how much they're capable of in that first month. And then I know how much to hold them accountable for moving forward. So that's how I hire in the Philippines.
Let me ask you a question about the rate of pay. I mean, what it is like for the Philippines versus India.
Gotcha. The rate of pay in the Philippines and in India is very low. It's incredibly low. Like I usually pay full time for a full-time person in the Philippines. I'll pay them anywhere from $500 to $600 a month on average for low skill set stuff. I mean, you're not going to get a programmer for that, but for somebody that's just a VA doing basic stuff, you know, $500 or $600 a month is pretty decent wage on a low level, and then you can obviously bump them up as you go. But that's incredibly cheap. You know, that's really cheap to get a full-time person to do all kinds of stuff for you. Now, if you offer more, you're not going to get the best people. The best people are already working, and they're going to want more, and they're not necessarily the best either. They might have more experience, so they think they're worth more. But there's a lot of people there that will do the same stuff for far less because maybe they're younger, maybe they don't have the experience, all that stuff. So get one on the low level and then graduate them up. The longer you keep them, the more you pay them, the more loyal they become. And you can literally keep them forever. Like I've got some of my guys in the Philippines, they've been with me for well over 10 years. My guys in India, they've been with me. My development team has been close to 10 years. So, and zero churn.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Would you be able to do one more share of the questionnaire or not?
You know, I can. I'll have to find the questionnaire. I haven't hired anybody in there for a long time.
That's a good sign for you. Yes.
No, I can
Thank
look.
you.
I'll look back. I've got all my old files and folders. I'm sure I can find that for you. For sure. But I asked them everything.
Thank you so much.
Everything I could possibly ever want. It wasn't even everything down. Because, you know, when I interview them, I'm going to ask them. I'm going to ask them because I'm literally trying to flush them out. If I get somebody that puts 4s and 5s on everything, I'm a little suspicious.
You know, John, the other night on the news, teachers are using this GPT-0 to check to see if kids are using ChatGPT for their assignments. So you might want to use some of that too in your review of these people.
You froze again, my friend.
Oh, sorry about that. So if I were to hire somebody right now, I would require them to know AI. That would be a prerequisite at this point in time, because I don't want to hire somebody that doesn't know AI at this point. I want somebody that's ahead of me, not behind me. So AI would definitely be high on the skill set list at this point. So, all right, well, cool.
Thank you.
I think we got it wrapped up for this week. I'll go ahead and close up and finish my cruise over to the big island of Catalina here. And for those of you that are on the crypto call, we'll be doing that at in about an hour and a half. Hopefully I'll be on anchor by then. I won't be rolling around here.
See you then, bro.
All
All
ashore
right.
is going ashore. The dinghy's ready to leave the boat.
Have a great week, and we will talk to you guys next week.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you.
John.
Thank you,
Thanks,
John.
everybody.